I'm Ryan Bertrand. You're watching The Ugly Inside.
Welcome back to TUI Transfer Talk. And for those of you that have been hiding away from the report since the end of the season, interest in Van Dijk and Claude Puel's future at Saints have gone into overdrive in the past few days. Now I've rallied around the Saints community once again. I've got Luke from Southampton on the call and Jake from the St. Mary's Musings. Before we came on air, recording this, we're going to say some breaking news, and it's been emerged that Liverpool have officially ended their interest in Virgil van Dijk, and they've released this statement. I'll read it to you, boys. I'm sure you've already seen it, but Liverpool Football Club would like to put onto record our regrets over recent media speculation regarding Southampton Football Club and player transfers between the two clubs. We apologise to the owner, board of directors and fans of Southampton for any misunderstanding regarding Virgil van Dijk, and we respect Southampton's position, and we can confirm we've ended any interest in the player. Now, Luke, it seemed like this saga would go on pretty much all of this summer. Reports started back in December when Virgil received his Man City shirt for the Secret Santa. Chelsea then stole a march in January, tabled about £50 million. And then once the end of the season came round, Liverpool were in the driving seat apparently. And early morning reports today, actually, that it was suggested of £75 million Liverpool were prepared to offer. But they've clearly realised they've stepped over the line with this, trying to unsettle Virgil on social media. Now, this is music to our ears, right, Luke?
It is. Finally, you just want the board to stand up to Liverpool, tell them just get lost this time, because it's got excessive. I mean, that would have been the sixth player within 4 years that's gone there, and it's just too much. So whether it was it was from the board or whether it was from the Premier League ordering Liverpool to pull out, I don't know, but it's refreshing.
The Saints came out a couple of days ago and said that they're going to report Liverpool for seemingly illegal approaches for Virgil van Dijk. Now, Jake, first of all, I mean, is this something that Southampton surely had to do because of the amount of players that we've given them over the last 3 or 4 years?
Definitely. I'm intrigued as to know why, Van Dijk had Chelsea and City after him, why Liverpool was the team he would have preferred to move to. It's about time Saints stood up to Liverpool. And to be honest, I think the board might look back if it looks like Virgil's going to force a move. There was talk today about him asking for a transfer request. Maybe the 75 million is a figure that Saints won't get near to, but the board simply had to stand up to Liverpool. Liverpool have got a history of tapping up our players. I think Ricky Lambert even admitted that was the case during some England camps with Gerrard as his teammate. It's about time Saints did stand up to Liverpool.
Well, it's not just Liverpool though, is it? What kind of message does this send from the Saints board to any other suitors?
The message has always been that if you bid a lot of money, we're at the point now where Mane moved to 36 million. I think that's the highest we've accepted for a player. I think the big clubs previously knew if they threw a lot of cash at Saints, we would sell. I think this is a little bit different because Liverpool been found to tap up Virgil van Dijk, but it does send off a message that it's going to take more than some talk in the media and a big bid for our players that we're now forced to sell them.
Now, look, I mean, this transfer, it was reportedly going to be going down as a world record fee for a defender, eclipsing David Luiz's transfer to PSG from Chelsea. Now, we know about Virgil van Dijk, but tell the viewers at home, for those of you that are watching that are not Saints fans, tell them why exactly Virgil is worth £75 million.
Because he has the potential to be as good as anyone in the world right now. People forget that he's 25, almost 26. Now, centre-backs tend to last longer. I mean, we look at how well Jose Fonte played. He played well into his 30s at a really, really high level. And if you look at Virgil right now, I'd say he's probably top 3, top 2 defenders in the Premier League. There is absolutely how far he can go. We'll look at 75 million for Virgil van Dijk, and maybe in 2 years' time we'll probably say, although the market value might not really correlate with what we're asking for him, that's how much he's worth to us. He's our team captain, he's our best player, and it was absolutely crucial that we made a stand.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. We needed to make a stand because you know, us as Saints fans, sick of the sight of people leaving for big money, and it's about time we showed that ambition.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's the name of the game, really. Now, ambition is it's difficult because if teams around us bolster their squads, which they need to do, because the standard this year was really, really poor, we need to match that. But the first way to do that is by keeping the players you've got, keeping your best assets and building upon that. Every single year we seem to replace instead of build. But now it's the time we've got to start building and really making Southampton a established top 8 side if we're not already.
You know, you could say that the transfer of Van Dijk and obviously the rumours suggesting Claude Puel's exit, you know, it's kind of hampered other transfers. And I've seen actually on Luke's article just before this call, Jake Ruben Semedo has now officially signed for Villarreal in Spain. And, you know, it seems like a missed opportunity there. He could have paired up with Virgil next season.
Yeah, from what I've read, I can't, I won't lie and say I've seen much of him play. From what I've read, he is a really good prospect, very good central defender, and if we do keep Virgil Van Dijk around, to have a quality partner alongside him would be great for our back line. It does seem like a missed opportunity. I just hope we have plenty of other targets in mind, and we're not going to be scrambling around and, you know, make a hasty replacement rather than one we'd planned for months in advance.
But, you know, historically, that doesn't stop us from signing players, because obviously before Claude came in this summer, Nathan Redmond, Højbjerg was already lined up as a Southampton player. Yeah,
totally agree. You know, you hear about this fabled black box, and you know, we have all these. We have plenty of scouting staff, and our transfer committee is made up of more than Claude himself. So, yeah, I have full confidence we have targets in mind. Whether Claude stays or goes, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue in hampering our chances at signing him.
And from an outsider looking in, you know, on paper it looks like a good season. 8th place finish, a cup final, but the reality is, and the bottom line is, the fashion of the football has been dreadful this season. Far too inconsistent, and reports suggest backstage unrest, you know. So what we know, according to the Daily Echo, is that Puel has sat down with the board for his season review, but they're yet to announce their outcome. Puel was on holiday, and I doubt there's going to be an announcement officially until he returns. Now, Luke, there's been reports suggesting that he's coming from France. He's going to take over as the new coach of St.Etienne.
Yeah, the whole saga surrounding Puel's become a little bit tiring, really. There's loads of conflicting reports out in France, especially. You know, one minute you've got outlets saying that he's going to be taking over St.Etienne imminently, and then the next ones are saying that he's refused the offers.
It's the most exciting thing he's done all season.
From my... Yeah.
Sorry about that, Luke.
That's right. No, but I think really from my perspective, I expect, well, Puel, as he is well within his rights to do, is probably holding out for the club to sack him so he can claim a couple of million in compensation. But new reports today suggest that St.Etienne could be willing to pay out, you know, for the rest of his contract and maybe take him off Saints' hands. That would obviously be the best deal for us. But really, it's been a little bit unfair on Claude, in my opinion, because I think that there's no point keeping him waiting. We've obviously made a decision, because I don't think we'd be leaving it hanging for this long since the end of season review. We've made this decision, but he's still contracted to us, and we're restricting his chances. Let the man enjoy his holiday and just let him know what his future is.
And Jay, you've been very critical of Claude in our end of season reviews. You know, you said, you know, I wouldn't mind if Claude left, and reports suggest in Europe that we're chasing ex-Borussia Dortmund manager Thomas Tuchel as a potential replacement. And Tuchel, I hope I'm saying that right, German fans out there, let me know of my pronunciation, but Tuchel seems like, you know, he fits the Saints' philosophy: attractive, attacking football and developing youngsters.
I think it's Tuchel, but I'm not too sure myself either. I don't know. I don't know how realistic that is as an option for Southampton. I mean, I was speaking to someone the other day, and he was like, "Oh well, is Saints a step down? But he did manage a team like Mainz." It's like, but yeah, he managed Mainz before going to Dortmund, and he did a decent job at Dortmund. He left. Well, he got sacked actually 3 days after winning the German Cup. But his sacking is largely down to a falling out with the Dortmund chairman. I think he would be great for Saints, but at the same time, I'm not sure how realistic it is. And, just with Saints being Saints, I don't want to get my hopes up.
And realistically, a key word there, and I think ultimately if Tuchel, whatever, he comes to Saints, ultimately it's going to be another episode of Ronald Koeman and Pochettino. He'll only use Saints as a stepping stone because, he's a coach that has got brilliant and, excellent potential.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be lucky to have him, and if we do get someone like Thomas Tuchel, he might be another 2-season wonder for us, and a bigger club will snap him up. But to be honest, I'd probably take that. Getting used to it by now.
Look, okay, and the final thought saying Gary Monk's being installed as the favourite to replace Claude, and the likelihood is he could bring back fans' favourite James Beattie as his assistant.
Yeah, for me, I think it'd be a downgrade. I think it'd be a downgrade on Puel. I mean, I'm obviously not Puel's biggest fan, and I do think that we need a change in charge. But what's the point in changing your manager if you're not going to upgrade him? And I think the club know that as well. I think that, you hear these reports that the club are going to relieve Claude of his duties when we've got a replacement lined up. Well, Monk's out of contract, so you'd assume that he'd be jumping at the chance to manage us if an offer came around. I don't think he'd do overwhelmingly badly here, but I think that a club of our stature and our potential need to aim higher because, sentiment aside, the bloke's had one decent season at Swansea, a terrible half a season, done all right at Leeds, but at the end of the day, they were fourth with, 4 weeks to go, and he bottled that. So, for me, I'd like to see us aim higher.
Now, at least one of those sagas seems like that it's kind of wrapped up, but I'm sure, as it with Saints, I'm sure maybe clubs across Europe will still be scouting and keeping their eyes out on Virgil Van Dijk. Let's keep the book slightly open for now, but Claude's saga moves on. But boys, you've been great. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to check out Luke over on Read Southampton, Jake from the St. Mary's Musings. Cheers for watching the bumper edition of the TUI Transfer Talk. Leave us your thoughts in the comments below what you make of Virgil van Dijk's supposed closed transfer to Liverpool. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Thank you.